Hey, welcome to Practically Grown,
a bi-weekly podcast where we bring you our own special brand of golden heathenry,
where we bring you a variety of topics that will enlighten your mind
and practically grow your life.
Thank you so much for coming back to join us for episode 2. Today's episode is all about crystals. Today we're going to be talking about some science behind crystals and some ways that we use them in our everyday life. Here's our show. Enjoy. So now on to crystals. So crystals, meditation and crystals can go hand in hand. They don't have to, but they can. So like for some people, they can use their crystals as a way of meditating. So like for me, when I used to go to therapy for anxiety and just dealing with anxiety in life, one of the things that we did was an exercise called grounding. So basically you are to hold something and you say, this thing is here. This thing is with me and it is real right now. It's present right now. And I think for me, stones and crystals, whatever, they kind of help me with that because I can physically hold this thing and I can say, not only is this thing here and it's real in my hand, but it also represents something. And so that's just an example of how you can use crystals in meditation. I know some people use them. Have you guys ever tried it just placing it on your skin? Anyone? I haven't done that.
It's interesting. I mean, because it's not something that you do on a regular basis. So I guess for me, it was kind of like, And you think about the way that it feels and how you feel based on that. And I mean, usually crystals feel pretty cold when you put them on your skin, which is a nice sensation, at least for me. Because I don't know, when I get stressed out or worried, I tend to get hot, if that makes sense. So, you know, that's kind of a way to counteract it.
Yeah, so you can do that, or like, another thing I do is I use my crystals to remind myself to pray, because they're on me and they're wearable so that I can be like, okay, I keep my carnelian on me at all times. I can be like, all right, I look down on it. Let me remember to pray for peace so that I'm not angry at the people around me. Let me remember to pray for like confidence when I have my garnet or whatever like that. It kind of helps me to remember to check in and be like, all right, this thing is here. It's constantly a part of my outfit. Every morning I get up and I put it on. Every morning I also should get up and pray. That's what I do. So crystals and stones, are they the same? Does anybody know if it's the same word? Stones and crystals? I always use them interchangeably.
Another word for crystals?
Yeah, like is stones and crystals the same thing?
Stones and crystals? I believe so, yeah.
I think it's an interchangeable term because I'll use either gemstones, crystals, like I kind of use them interchangeably depending on how I choose to speak or type.
Yeah.
And a lot of people call them precious stones too, so yeah.
What's the difference between precious and semi-precious?
I don't know if it's like the value, I guess the rarity and the value would come into play with that.
So how do we classify birthstones? Because like growing up, all we know is the tree is my birthstone, but we don't really ever think about what kind of power we're harnessing when we adorn ourselves with these things.
That's a good point.
So wait, what do you mean by, like?
Okay, so I had, one year my mom got me a ring with my birthstone on it. All I knew was it was pretty, it's my birthstone, it was a gift, I'm wearing it. But I didn't really think about what does citrine do for the mind and the body. Does it promote wellness, prosperity? Does it bring calm and peace? Does it dispel negative energy? I never thought about stuff like that. I just wore it because it was given to me. And so just because I just wore it, I never thought, hey, maybe I should clean these every once in a while, set intentions, do all of these other things that I'm actually learning about now.
Okay.
It was just a thing and not really. It isn't what it is today. I don't look at it as just a birthstone anymore.
Cause,
yeah, for me growing up, birthstones were just a thing, you know. It was like, oh, well, I was born in this month, so I have this stone. End of story.
Right.
So a lot of times
it wasn't nothing
really
else
get
to
gifts. What was that?
It was chapter 1 in the story. Like, there was no chapter 2, chapter 3. This is all you need to know, and that's all you're going to get.
Right. So it's just very surface level.
Kiana, did you know that November has 2 birthstones?
No, I didn't. What's the other one?
Topaz.
Ooh.
It threw me off because, like, I was reading, like, as you were talking, I was reading an article on the different birthstones, and you said citrine, and I was like, I am looking at topaz. And then I looked it up, and it was like, November has 2. I was like, okay, cool.
Ooh. What color is topaz? Is it also a yellow color?
Topaz
Yeah,
is
like a
green, right?
like a dark gold yellow.
I know I was born to rock black and gold.
Wow.
Speaking of, I did like
Yellow.
I know, funny, right? I'm corny.
Funny.
But it was a couple years ago. I did some type of quiz that it pairs based on your answers. It pairs you with the stone, and the one I got was obsidian. Hence my Twitter name, which has been like that for like ever. I changed it when I was about off the stage, but that I'm still learning things. But I just know when I think of stones that I want to keep around me, first of all, the one I always go to is smoky quartz. I have to have a smoky quartz. Y'all better not gonna come at me with some BS today. I'm gonna pull this smoky quartz out of my pocket. I'm gonna walk around with it in my fist because I don't feel like being bothered. You're not gonna keep getting me all worked up.
What is
The smoky quartz is gonna take this. It gets rid of negative energy. So like when I'm at work, I try to always keep it in my pocket because if I get like super stressed or something's not going right, like it's not often I get a minute to myself, but when I do, like I take a couple of deep breaths, I pull it out of my pocket, I put it in my hand. I don't wear my other ones as much because my skin has been acting up, but like I would wear my amethyst for it because it helps protect my energy and my spirituality. So I try to combine like things that I need because I know what I'm about to deal with going into work. I have an amber bracelet for stress. Like, as soon as that merchant said that keyword, stress, I started picking them up and figuring out which one is going to do me the most good. Oh, this bracelet feels kind of different in my hand compared to the rest of them. So I'm going to take this one home with me.
That's how I pick stones too. I just literally like, oh, this one, I like it. Like, this is what I feel like I should have. So.
Yeah, because I mean, like, some of them look pretty, and I try not to go for the pretty ones right away because, okay, put it like this. My smoky quartz, I remember what it looked like when I got it, but about a month ago, I really, like, looked at it and got to know it, and I was like, I talked to my crystals, too. I don't remember you having this little indenture right here. What happened? I don't remember this being over here. This is me. Or like at the my smoky quartz, most of it is pretty. It looks like it's like a regular stone, but then when you look at the bottom of it, it's clear at the bottom, and you can actually look in and see like all the little networks, and basically you can see how it's made on the inside. And like it might sound kind of weird, but like I'll look in it, and it's like in my mind I kind of travel through the way it's made, and in a way get to know it a little bit more. And I feel like the more you get to know the stones that you have, the more intuitive they can be, and the more that they can actually help you in your life.
So I'm just looking up a little bit more about like where stones came, like where the birthstones came from. And it says, just to give you guys a short little whatever, one account traces the concept of 12 birthstones to the book of Exodus in the Christian Bible in the Old Testament, wherein a high priest named Aaron created a breastplate with 12 stones to represent the 12 tribes and sons of Israel. The stones were said to be set in gold. Anyway, yeah, it's a stone for each tribe, and then from there, it wasn't until 1912 that the Jewelers of America National Association adopted the official list of 12 birthstones. But there's also, it says that another school of thought links the 12 birthstones to the 12 apostles. Between the 8th and 9th centuries, a specific stone was assigned to each apostle. Some of them have more than one. Biblical stuff, though. I don't know how true that is. I have not looked up any of this other than these little, like, fly-by-night websites.
Well,
yeah.
I want to say I don't find it unbelievable because in my church when we take in new members, based on their birth month, they go into a certain tribe, and each tribe has a leader who is typically someone older in our church. So not necessarily like mother of the church old, but deacon, deaconess, mother. Like when I think of the people that they have leading the tribes, I want to say they are at least 90% above the age of 40, 45. But that's just a trend I noticed. But yeah, it's based off of your month, decides what tribe you go into. And so for them to have like a stone representing each tribe, it makes sense. Because for each country, we have a flag. For each state, we have a bird, we have a this, we have a that. Something that differentiates them from the next.
So continuing on with crystals, talking about the science of crystals is a little bit tricky because technically crystal healing would fall under what we call metaphysics. So basically, metaphysics is kind of like the realm that science doesn't touch. So first of all, let me explain. So like science cannot prove things that are spiritual. We as scientists cannot do that. It is one of the definitions of science that if it is something that is supernatural, it falls outside of the realm of science. So we can say what we think crystals do physically to our neurons and our waves that we radiate off of our bodies, whatever. But as far as like aligning our spirituality, science can't really tell us anything about that. And that's more the metaphysics of crystals. So just to clear it up. So like the people who are like, yeah, science doesn't prove God, that doesn't make any sense because God will be a spiritual being outside of the realm of science. Crystals are considered metaphysics, and so they've been used since the beginning of humans, basically. We've used them for different things, and one of the examples that I saw was the ancient Egyptians used them for jewelry. They used them as a part of their death rituals. And even the ancient Egyptians thought that amethyst would prevent drunkenness. So it's really interesting because amethyst is a stone of clarity of mind. So they were like, instead of being all discombobulated because you're drunk, they would go around with amethyst to try and combat that. So yeah, it's been around, stones have been around forever. People have been using them forever. Okay, so just because the spirituality of stones has been outside of science, it doesn't mean that science has not tried to, I'm not going to say science, but like some people have not tried to explain how crystals work. So, for instance, there is what we call the piezoelectric effect. So that basically means that you take a stone or some type of piezoelectric item and you squeeze it. And by making some type of stress to that item, you produce an electrical signal. So I guess the easiest way to think about this is like the clap on, clap off lights. So you have a piezoelectric thing in the light bulb, and when you clap, that sound from you clapping kind of, think of it as like shaking that material, and that produces the electrical impulse that turns on the light. Yeah. So the idea is that like you can take like a quartz or something, squeeze it, and it will turn on a light bulb. So that's step one of why this works with crystals. So the reason why people are saying that it works with people is because as humans, we emit electromagnetic waves. It's just something that we do. simply because every time that your brain gets a thought to do anything, pump your heart or move your arm or blink or whatever like that, an electrical signal is what tells the rest of your body to do something. So that electrical signal starts in your brain, it travels down to the rest of your body, but all of that is actual electricity coming off of you. It's one of the reasons why, like when you're in water and like there's a shark near, they say don't swim, because the more you swim, the more electricity you're producing. Sharks can sense that electrical impulse. So we have these electricity that is coming off of us, which gives us electromagnetic radiation, because whenever you have electricity, you have a magnetic field, if that makes sense. So everything with some type of electrical impulse, period, also has a magnetic field, and that's where we get the word electromagnetic radiation. So as humans, we have electromagnetic radiation, and you can think of it as like waves. So that waves are very similar to like the sound waves of clapping with the piezoelectric effect. So the way that, I mean, of course this is not set in stone. This is pretty much speculation. It's like science trying to explain what old ancient medicine has always done since the beginning of forever. So our science is a little bit, we're trying to fit it, like it's not tested a lot, because a lot of people are like, well, stones are not really useful and they're stupid, So I'm not going to say that it's like a theory, like a law in science or anything. It's more of an idea. But yeah, so you have that, those waves hitting it, and it can hit the stones, and hitting the stones is what causes the stones to stabilize your mind. So like, because there's so many electrical impulses going on and you're interacting with them, you're interacting with the stone because of your waves, that can help stabilize what's going on in your head. So the evidence for this comes from, like, you can put quartz, if you have two radio stations and they're emitting a frequency, you can put quartz in between the two waves, and it will stabilize the waves so that you won't have like background noise, or as much interference, I should say, between the waves. So the idea is that if it can do that for waves, regular radio waves, it can do that for the waves in your mind. That's basically how that works. So you have some people, like for me, that's the most interesting part about stones, is that they have the potential to be actually doing something to our physiology. And some people are just like, hey, they're opening up my chakras. They are, syncing up my spirituality. And that's fine too. However you want to identify with them, whatever, that's fine.
And that's our show. We'll be back in 2 weeks for episode 3, where we will talk about holistic wellness and natural healing. Stick around after this episode for episode 2.5, which is basically just us talking about random topics, and we hope to be at least a little bit funny. Also, we want to interact with you guys. Tell us how you like the show. Any suggestions for topics or any tips or techniques you have for dealing with energy and crystals, stress, or life in general is always appreciated in the comment section. Visit our website or follow us on our Instagram and Facebook pages, where we post Did You Know fun facts, updates on episodes, and some helpful information about current events. Thank you so much for listening. Be love and light. Bye, guys.